The Mac is back, bro. Conor McGregor is reminding me of the Conor that we saw on his 2 title run before the Habib era, where he actually just completely seemed off the reservation. The dude is fun again. He's absolutely talking trash. He's absolutely doing all the things we remember him doing, but he's making it gamesmanship at this point instead of making it ugly like we saw him at the end of, I guess his pre-injury run. I really think that Conor McGregor is gonna surprise us all. He's way bigger than Max at this point, and from what I've seen, what I've heard, this dude has been literally living in the gym. Conor McGregor is 1 fight away, maybe 2, from us seeing him back in a championship match, and it's kinda crazy to me that this is, once again, a Conor McGregor fight with no title on the line that's a main event. That's not something we see. Conor still apparently brings it, and I think we're seeing vintage Conor. What do you think, man?
Yeah, I mean, hate him or love him, you gotta admit the biggest star in MMA is finally back. But here's the thing though, is this the biggest comeback in UFC history, or is this the biggest gamble in UFC history? Does he come out and flop because he's been out of shape? He hasn't fought for 5 years. I'm against, I call him Mad Max. There's no other name for the guy. You know what I'm saying? The guy has records for throwing the most punches in a fight, in a round, and I mean everywhere, right? I mean this Max is just an epic fighter. But here's the thing, though, uh, as I'm thinking about Connor, if I'm gonna come back to the ring, this is the guy who has the pull, the energy. This is an epic fight. This is a very interesting matchup. Just exactly what you said. Max is coming up in weight. So how is he going to handle that, right? I think before he came up to, what was it, 155, 156, or whatever the weight is there. Now he coming up to 170. He coming up with the big guys. No Diddy. Um, but like, essentially, I don't know. Are you pro? Are you pro? Where are you at with this?
So, one, I don't think you can ever count Max out. I do think 170 is pretty big for Max Holloway. He,
Mm.
wasn't fighting, or he was fighting at 145 not too long ago. Again, his move up to 155 did not immediately go well. He looked undersized at 155. He definitely bulked up, you know, before the Justin Gaethje fight. We all know how that ended. I mean, got to be the greatest knockout that we have ever seen. 1 second to go. The dude's up 5 rounds, basically to none, and says, right here in the middle, give you a chance, and flatlines Justin Gaethje. At the same time, the fact that Max throws so many punches, Connor is an amazing counter puncher. I'm not the biggest Connor fan, but you cannot deny the man is one of the greatest counter punchers the UFC has ever seen. Sean O'Malley might be probably the closest comparison to that. And we saw what he did to Aljo. I think even despite the 5 years off, Connor has not been unprepared for this fight. Yes, he had a few years where we all know, and he admits himself he was on, some nonsense. But the last year or so, it seems like he has been actually truly rededicated. And I think power wise, it's unmatched. I think Connor is going to absolutely drop Max at least once or twice, and he's going to point it out 3 or 4 rounds to one.
Well, one of us has to be right, one of us has to be wrong here. So I am fully against Conor McGregor. Let me give you the details why. The guy has not fought since 2021 when he got his leg busted up by Dustin. So, a leg injury in this kind of sport, in this kind of arena, it's one of those things that's just very hard to come back. You know what I mean? Like, you can't imagine like Charles Xavier, doing UFC, right? I mean, let's be real. Also, the sport has just evolved over the last 5 years. All these fighters are just way more versatile. They're relentless. And Max is just not. He's just one of these guys, man. He's like one of the guys you just never want to see in an alley, right? Or never want to talk trash to in a bar. This guy will bust your mouth out. Like, you know what I'm saying? He's called Mad Max for a reason. So and I just think that another thing that's going to kind of play with this. I mean, this is a rematch. These guys fought 13 years ago. So
A lot
I
has
don't think,
changed.
yeah, I don't think that Connor has learned any new tricks. I know he's been back in the gym for the last year, year and a half or whatever, but he's been in the sport this whole time. He's had epic fights, epic showdowns, epic knockouts. His ego's there. He's fighting a guy he's really just, in my opinion, he's talk. He's hyped to the sport though. But if he wins, will it be the greatest comeback ever? Arguably, yes.
Yeah, and so I agree with some of what you're saying. I want to be very, very clear that there is something to be said about Connor has been missing for 5 years. Now, again, we all know for a couple of years he was just out being, party playboy, whatever. But he has a lot of tape on Max from the last 5 years to see the adjustments in Max's game. So his film study, if he's been doing it, and I can't be sure, obviously, I don't know, but if he's been doing film study as he should be, he has been able to pick up on the changes in Max's game since the last time they fought. Nobody knows what Connor has been doing, what he's been training, anything that, he's been adjusting or working on. And I think that's a big disadvantage to Max to say, hey, the last time I saw Connor was 5 years. I don't know what he's been doing since then. And Connor can say, well, I've seen every adjustment that Max has made over the last 5 years because he's been consistently in the octagon and there is film.
I fully agree. You can't adjust to watching film and adjust to the thought of getting punched in the face 60 times in one round. I don't care how much film you watch. You can't adjust to that. There's nothing to come back from. Your face busted up. I mean, your teeth getting knocked out. You know what I mean? Eyes swelling up. I don't care how much film you watch. This is Mad Max for a reason. Ludacris
And
would say, "Throw them bows." Like, this is Max.
so that's why I'd throw out the counterpunch point. Again, Connor is one of the best counterpunchers we have ever seen
Used to
in
be.
history of the sport.
Used to be.
And used to be, yes. I mean, we can't know if that, still holds up today, but the fact that he's got 5 years worth of film and fights from Max gives him the ability to see the shot coming, to grab the angle, to counter it. And if we want to be honest about who's bringing more power to this fight, it's Connor. Connor's walking around huge. Connor is going to have to cut
Almost.
serious weight to make 170. Max absolutely did not have to. Max, I haven't seen the weigh in, but I would be very surprised if he even weighed a full 170, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, you keep bringing up this 5 years of watching film. And this guy's been 5 years of partying and trying to recover from a leg injury. You know what I mean? Chugging down bottles of vodka till he couldn't feel his face. You know what I mean? I just don't think that he's in the right physical shape to dominate this fight. Can he win? He can. I mean, anybody can win any single Sunday, right? Any given Sunday, anybody can win. I just don't think he's physically set um, for the comeback.
So, where I do think you're wrong on that, and, this is where I'll leave it. That's why I brought up at the beginning of the call the Conor McGregor that I have seen in interviews and in the press conference reminds me of the Conor of old. It's not the Habib era Conor. It's not the Floyd Mayweather era Conor. He seems like he is truly more focused, like he has kind of come back to his roots and gotten away from the entire, hey, I'm just going to say the most wild, crazy crap because I'm partying, drunk on drugs, and, I'm not thinking clearly. He seems much more rooted. And I think people are underestimating the change that he has made to get back to being his true self instead of the guy that had too much money and didn't know how to handle the fame.
Yeah. So, question for chat. So, is Max Holloway the toughest possible comeback opponent that Connor could have faced? And I will say, pretty daggone close. The only thing that I'm noticing is that Max is not really heavy on leg kicks like some of the other fighters are, and that's really where Conor needs to be hit coming from a leg injury, in my opinion. That's where he needs to be, you know what I mean?
So I'm going to end it with, on my end, one final question. Is Max just a warm up fight to get Connor to Ilya? Or was the UFC afraid that Ilya would absolutely demolish Connor and end the comeback hype?
Well, after this fight, Conor will be picking out retirement homes. I can tell you that. You heard it first.
I think that was pretty good, man.